welcome back to Start Your Day. Once again, it's time for The Table. And you know how we do it every week. We're joined by two of the best and the brightest ladies I love. Brittney Cooper, professor of women's studies at Rutgers University, political strategist, Ameshia Cross. Good morning to you ladies. Candace is off this morning. I want to jump right into it. Okay, I do. I'm going to start with you, Ameshia. This Governor Ron DeSantis down in Florida announced he is proposing this legislation to stop woke activism and critical race theory in schools and corporations. I'm tempted not to take the bait, okay? But here we go. So I need you to break it down, and then Brittney, you're going to have your chance here to really go in. But Ameshia, you first.
Ron DeSantis is riling up the Republican base. He knows that critical race theory is red meat for them, and this is something that he is going to carry throughout the midterms. He is hoping to be heir apparent post Donald Trump. That is his goal. He is using these cues because he knows that they work and they turn out voters. We all just saw what happened in the great state of Virginia in their gubernatorial. This type of conversation works. This is the same Ron DeSantis who wanted to make it legal for individuals to run over protests. This racist rhetoric. He is pushing a racist agenda. He is pushing a white supremacist agenda because, quite frankly, that is what the majority of the Republican Party today is made of, and he knows that he's not going to get pushback from his voters.
Yeah, this whole race baiting nonsense, it's a business. Let's play the sound if we can. Had a little mishap there. Let's play the governor's sound. Then, Brittney, I want you to just take the floor.
You think about what MLK stood for. He said he didn't want people judged on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character. You listen to some of these people nowadays, they don't talk about that. By us protecting against CRT and this Stop Woke Act, you know, we're going to be making sure that that time in school is actually spent learning and not just being targets of indoctrination.
I'm just going to smile and listen. I'm just going to smile and listen.
I mean, you know, this is outrageous. It is a sort of massive gaslight. These are folks who know that we are winning the war in terms of teaching our young people to have a more critical perspective about race and its machinations. And so what these folks are really trying to stave off is young people coming home and talking to them at the dinner table and saying, what about your white privilege, mom and dad? What are you doing to actually combat white supremacy? How are you complicit with the problem? They know that young people actually do have a deep understanding of race and racism. My friends and I wrote a book for young people a few months back, and we've been talking to young people all over the country, third graders, fifth graders, seventh graders. These young people are incredibly astute about power dynamics. They want to understand why the world is this way. And so what I need Ron DeSantis to do is to close his mouth and to go to sleep, to take a nap, to reset his brain and stop thinking that this is about folks trying to be woke and recognize that this is actually about those of us who have a command of the truth and who want to actually educate young people to be good, critical thinking, critical minded, justice loving citizens, and those who don't. That is the dividing line. Are you pro white supremacy, or are you pro a democracy that actually takes care of all of its citizens? That's it.
It really is that simple, and I do think you're right. These kids are coming home saying all kinds of things about white privilege, and then probably following up with how come the meat's not seasoned better. Ameshia, I want you to tell me, though, is this going to work? Will this strategy work? Because there's a lot of people out there who prefer to stay unwoke. They don't want to learn. They don't want to know better. They don't want to do better. They're afraid.
Woke has been used as a huge word and a problematic word across Republican circles when it literally it should not be that. We heard Ron DeSantis literally quote MLK. Republicans love to quote MLK for any and every reason. What is frustrating, though, is that Ron DeSantis knows exactly what he's doing. This is a smart man. This is an Ivy League educated man. This is a guy who graduated from one of the top law schools in the country. This is a guy who fully understands what the heck he is doing. And he is doing it because he knows that it is a dog whistle for voters. It is a dog whistle for Republicans. It aligns white women like nothing else does. Education and white supremacy in education has always made white women come a-running. And I think that he is using that as a strategy, and it absolutely will work. I grew up partially elementary school and middle school in the great state of Florida. There's very little you learn about Black history in any public school in the state already. So it's not that
Hmm.
he's trying to eradicate that. It's that he really is doing this because he sees that on a national front with Republicans, it sells, it fundraises, it wins elections. It absolutely will work.
Can we just keep an eye on this and look at the one guy holding up the sign with his, looks like he's had the comatose. Right? Look, and then I wanted to point this out. The sister, look down, and I'm ashamed too, as you just try to pretend like, I hope nobody recognizes me. We do all see it, but are we going to have to hear it? Are we going to have to hear this, Brittney, for the next 3 years until a presidential election? And how does Biden, how do the Democrats, how do people handle this?
Look, part of the thing the Democrats got to do is they got to reframe this narrative. The stimulus checks and the additional payments to families, the top child tax credit, that helped to reduce child poverty by massive amounts this year. Democrats need to be singing that from the rooftops, that we are putting out the kinds of programs that actually make life better for your children. And these
Hmm.
folks are trying to undereducate your children in response. And they're trying to take up all of the energy by weaponizing schools against communities. Let's also remember that one of the things this legislation does, it takes a page from the playbook of this abortion law in Texas and says that basically parents
Hmm.
can wrap school systems up in litigation and then collect
That
attorney's fees
part.
after they force school systems to actually defend themselves against teaching CRT. So that is why the strategy is so insidious, because it uses the law, it weaponizes the law against educators. And we already know that we underpay teachers. And so we need a massive teacher movement in
Hmm.
this country where educators are saying, we babysit your children often, and we are often not given the tools we need to actually educate them. And now you want to take already underfunded, under-resourced school systems that are trying to actually reach young people and tell them something about their experience and wrap them up in litigation. And as a democracy, we need to be saying, we're not going to let these disingenuous lawmakers, use the law against the folks who teach our children. So that too has to become part of the narrative. And so the Democrats have to become more muscular. They have to become more combative. They have to restyle themselves as the defenders of children. They have to stop letting Republicans have this narrative
Hmm.
about how they're the ones who look out for the interest of parents. And here's the thing. Black parents and brown parents need to be at the forefront of the Democrats' campaign saying, yes, I
Yes.
want my child to learn about race and racism in school, because some of the children they are encountering in school are being racist to them, not to mention the teachers. So, yes, I want them to have the language for it, because that both makes them more educated and it makes them more equipped to face the world that they're going to face as young people. Democrats got to get out in front of this narrative, because Republicans understand that weaponizing particularly white moms against the rest of us is always a surefire bet, as Ameshia said, to win in the ballot box. But look, what they don't understand is that the power of Black women voters, of Black mothers who are mobilized,
Yes.
of brown mothers who are mobilized, actually is a formidable resistance to what the Republicans are trying to do.
And two things. If you speak my love language as a Black woman, you'll realize white women aren't the only ones that care about education. It's what you both are
That's right.
really saying. But that
That's right.
thing about the narrative, why are we always thinking about one side that's on their heels and this other side who's constantly pushing a narrative and the other side is pushing back poorly, if at all? That to me seems to be the key. But I do want to pivot to COVID because, Brittney, you're in North Jersey and New York. Ameshia, you're in D.C. Ameshia, the temperature in the nation's capital around the Beltway, it seems to me people are confused. They're tired of all of this. They want to get out. They want to do what they got to do. And yet we have Omicron and it's not stopping.
It's not just in the Beltway, Sharon. There are people across the country who are honestly just ready for their lives to go back to whatever normalcy they experienced before. That means the holiday gatherings, the parties, the ugly Christmas sweater things, everything that comes along with that. But Omicron kind of put a pickle in it. It made it very difficult. Now we're
Yeah.
telling parents that they need to go and buy these tests from CVS or wherever they're going to go so that they can test their kids to make sure that they don't have COVID before they go to these parties. Gag is those tests aren't free. And in some cases, my local CVS, that test is
Yeah.
$25. So you have some families that are
Yeah.
really left out of even being able to do that. Omicron is spreading. Delta is still spreading like wildfire. We can't forget it. It's not in our rear view. My partner just contracted COVID this past week from going to a Christmas party that was associated with his job.
Wow.
He's fully vaccinated and has the booster. So I think that we have to be very serious about the fact that COVID is still out there. We still need to be social distancing. We still need to be wearing our masks. We cannot pretend as though this is not a thing. And yes, because you have a vaccine, because you have the booster, be mindful, still get that booster, does not mean that you will not get COVID. It means that it will avoid you from having a hospitalization, a serious case of COVID. So we just need to be vigilant. We need to continue the pathway we were going on, honestly, last year in terms of limiting our interactions, because it is spreading. And we don't know who among friends, family, coworkers, whomever has been fully vaccinated. Now fully vaccinated definition has changed to include the booster. If you do not have that booster, you are not fully vaccinated. Because we don't know who has that, who doesn't, just be safe and vigilant.
And so quickly, Brittney, you respond, because I'm going to tell you something. Well, just tell me, should I get together with family and friends at the holiday? Because number one, I don't want to catch COVID. And number two, I don't really want to keep arguing with these people. I love to argue, but I'm really over it. I'm over it.
Look, I think that the point is that people are not going to avoid family gatherings, but mask up. That's one thing that you can do that is going to limit the spread, limit the amount of people, make sure that you're in well-ventilated areas. If you can be outside and have heat lamps, do that. Make sure that you get vaccinated before you go. Make sure that you're doing all the things to take care of your immune system. Limit your contact in the days before you go. So do all of the things that you can to try to be safe. And then on top of that, wear a mask, because we know that really good quality masks reduce transmission. This is a hard thing for me because I've been very vigilant. I've gotten vaccinated. I've gotten the booster. I have underlying health conditions. I have worked really hard to stay well and to keep everyone in my family well this year. But I can't go another holiday season without seeing my mom. And so I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to do that, but I'm going to go. I'm going to be masked up. I've had a COVID test. So we're going to be extra vigilant. What we need, though, more than all of this is a collective community agreement that we're going to do our best to take care of each other, that we're not going to continue to be willy-nilly about this, that we're going to all do everything that we possibly can to try to be protected. And then we're going to have to reckon with the fact that that still might not be enough. And so it's a really hard moment. Ameshia, I hope that your partner fully recovers. My dad recovered from a breakthrough case after being vaccinated over the summer. The other thing about this in our communities is we all know someone. We have all at this point know someone who has died of COVID. At the beginning of this thing, we didn't. So we got to stop telling ourselves that it's not serious. It has arrived on our personal doorsteps in devastating ways all year. And what we want to do is to try to go into the next year limiting the devastation and death and destruction.
Yeah, let's just be safe. Let's everybody, like you said, do what we can here. And Ameshia, yes, speedy recovery to your partner. I do want to talk about this, because this guy got on my last nerves. I could have used y'all on Friday. Mike and his men last week talking about women and how women should pay and women have to do this, and as if the implication is we just want money and now they're going to flip the script on us. But I just want you to listen and then react to it. This brother.
Well, I make good money, but she makes more money than me. Let's just go ahead and be honest with you. She's more popular than me. She's all that and more, right? If my wife would have divorced me tomorrow, I would not ask for a penny of her money. As a matter of fact, she had an insurance policy that she was trying to put in my name. I was like, don't put it in my name. Put it in your daughter's name. I don't want any of her money.
I mean, I figure it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Women have been doing this constantly. Even if I was self-made, I'd be like, well, I'm self-made, but you a little bit more made. So I think we're going to get up off that money. And I would be at her house, just like women do it. I'd be at her house saying, where's my check at? Because this is the lifestyle I'm used to.
I think what got on my nerves, now, first of all, I thought he was super cute. He reminded me of an ex of mine, but then he's an ex. I did have to get rid of him because he was just, you're all over the place, and I can't look at you for the next 30 years. But I think the part that triggered me was this narrative that this is what we do, baby mama drama, and give me that money and the checks. And the three of us on this screen, I'm not getting, are you getting checks? I mean, that might be, Brittney, you first, but it's just something about this brother that I said no.
I mean, look, if red flags were a walking billboard, that comedian brother is the billboard, right? So sisters, when you see him, flee, run. He coming to collect your money. He want to, take you down. here is the thing. We got to deal with this enmity in our communities. This sort of narrative about what's good for the goose is good for the gander is absolutely ridiculous. We created a system of alimony in this country because women used to be the legal property of their husbands. They used to not have any legal rights. They couldn't even have credit cards in their names. And so men would marry women, and men made more money, and men supported the family, and then they would leave these wives, and those women had no way to economically support themselves. That has not been the position of men. And so my thing is, if the relationship falls apart, then there is a reason why women typically are more entitled to alimony. But if she's making more money, she's not going to get that. And look, I am a feminist. I do believe in equality, but I don't believe in these sort of ridiculous narratives about, that both sidesism, right? That what women have had access to, that men should now have access to it, any more than I believe in when we say that about like reverse racism. It's completely absurd. And I think like the traditional part of me is like, any brother who thinks that he should take a sister's money just as a play against her is an emotional terrorist. We shouldn't take him seriously, and he should get gone.
Oh, I haven't heard emotional terrorist in a long time, and I do love it. Ameshia, your turn.
No, I agree with a lot of what was just said. At the end of the day, women tend to get the shaft economically, quite frankly, in the majority of situations. And we're not even counting women who are mothers at this point, but women tend to get the shaft. They are housed in jobs that are lower paying. We know that. We know that over time, their earnings are typically less than men happen to be. The bigger issue I have with that conversation is that Black men across the country buy into it. This idea that all Black women just want your money and are out here cash grab. Somewhere they're like that DuckTales video game from back in the day, waiting to find, that big bag of coins and run off with them. That's typically not the case. Hell, most Black men don't earn enough for us to run off with it anyway. But I do feel like today, in this modern era where you have Black women who are entrepreneurial, who are doing their own thing, if you make more, make sure that your prenup is written as such so that he can't run away with your coin, because that's going to happen more often than anything else at this point. It is extremely important. Also look towards egalitarian relationships and marriages, meaning that you and him are somewhat on a similar page, because you want to make sure that you aren't enduring that economic terrorist, that person who's going to be shelving money or hiding money or treating you as though you are property, meanwhile thinking you are not deserving of what is due to you by the marriage in and of itself. I think that women are but we've also seen women take control of their power. And it is extremely important that we shut down ideas and comments like what was said by that gentleman, just because in our community, it is seen as Black women are gold diggers. Black women always want your cash. And that a lot of men, single men, unmarried men, use that as a reason to basically throw down marriage as even an institution that we should be looking towards at all. It is frustrating because it's not heard in the white community. It is not something that white men go around saying about their women, but we hear it consistently amongst our brothers. And we really need to re-educate on how this process actually works.
Let me tell you something, ladies, and I do think Black men have a responsibility. I was on, I love Mike, but for him to bring this trash opinion to the forefront and to sit up here on television and do this and push and this narrative, this filthy narrative about Black women, and give a platform to a gentleman like this. I hasten to even call him a gentleman. It was wrong. And I know you ladies agree with me, it was wrong. And so, I'll give him about 20 seconds, but this is Sharon's table. I'll clip his mic real quick.
No, I was just going to, I think out of everything that we said, first of all, you heard what I said at the beginning of the comments. You took out of everything that was said last week that Black men think that all women that marry them want their money. I think Shane had an opinion about if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And Brittney, to your point, back in the day when alimony was first brought up, it was because women were looked at as properties. They were the housekeepers or the homekeepers or the homemakers, had to take care of the children, didn't have jobs of their own. So the alimony was going to women at that time. So I'll ask you this question. Do you believe that women of today, because you are boss women, you are, I'm just asking, because you are, I'm just asking. I'm asking the question. Do you believe that women of today who are bosses, who make a lot of money, in a lot of cases make more money than their counterparts, as is in my case, deserve alimony then? if that's the case?
If you
Go.
have more money than the dude and the relationship doesn't work, then no. And also, you're not going to be rewarded alimony if you're the top earner. The problem with his framing is that it doesn't square with reality. It's just a blackmail politics of resentment, precisely because there are so many boss black chicks out here who are doing well for themselves. Ooh. And brothers don't get to be top earners. And so then they take it out and say that we want them for their money. These same men have a problem with independent women, but also have a problem with women being gold diggers. And so it might not be every brother, but it's about it's what I'm saying is that we need a cultural conversation about why brothers resent sisters for making it, when quite frankly, we've had to make it because we know that this system underemploys black men, doesn't allow them to achieve at the level of their white counterparts, knows that it doesn't allow them to come home and be those kinds of breadwinners that white men are allowed to be. So sisters have partnered with brothers basically since the end of slavery to pull our weight. And now black men choose to resent us because some of us, a paltry amount of us, are doing well. Most black folks are not actually upper class earners, right? And let me say this last thing.
But
these
Britt,
brothers these brothers want to pull boss chicks. Y'all want to pull us, you want to date us, but then you don't do the emotional work to think about that. So I'm going to echo my sister Ameshia and my sister Sharon and say that my response to that, brother, is in the words of y'all's beloved Kanye, we won't prenup. We won't prenup.
Not prenup.
And I agree. So, like with Shane, if you heard,
more time for the table.
If you heard, did you hear the response that I gave Shane? Most of the brothers on that panel did not agree with Shane. All three of us did not agree with Shane, but that was his opinion. I'm trying to figure out how it's ridiculous when we're talking about alimony and prenup. Once again, most men I know, including myself, if you heard the first soundbite, I would not take spousal support from my wife because I'm a self-made man, right? Even if my wife was making more money than me. I'm saying if in a situation where a woman asked a man to leave his career to follow her to take care of situations that she couldn't take care of herself, be her manager or whatever, and he just put his career behind, and she made a boatload of money. And then all of a sudden they got a divorce, and then he had to go back to living his life again. Is he then entitled to spousal support? That is the question that I'm asking.
In the scenario that you brought up, I think yes. But the thing with that is, the caveat there is that so few actually have that as an option. There are men who are not going to leave any bit of themselves, their job, anything else. They're not going to sit at home and take care of the kids while you're rising in your career. That is a very small percentage of black men that will do that. What we do see more often amongst successful women is pulling these men up by their bootstraps, taking on men who earn far less than them, and basically having another child in their home who happens to be 30, 40, 50 years old. That's what we're seeing in these cases. It's not men who are deciding that they're going to stop their jobs.
You know why, Bree? Because I'm hearing black men. And this is not just a black man thing. White men do the same thing. So we're not just going to sit up here and bash black men in general. No, because white men do the same thing a lot of times. So no, Brittney, I know you can. But white men do. So we're not going to sit up here and bash and say black men do this. We're not going to do that.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear that my black man is here in the house, sleeping in our bed. So I take care of my black man, right? This is not about a lack of respect for black men. I tend to think structurally, but we are talking to our communities. And one of the challenges that we have that Ameshia is essentially pointing to is y'all be wanting to use outlier experiences. When Barack was in office, brothers were like, I need me a Michelle. And my response was always, but are you Barack, right? The other side of that is folks want to use a Stedman example, but I'm like, but are you Stedman though? Because Stedman has money. That's the thing. Stedman actually is a self-made man. Stedman actually is independently wealthy. And so brothers be holding us to a standard that they themselves cannot fit. Right. Yep. And then
there it is. There he does.